There we go. Apologies, had to get up and running correctly. All right, good evening, everyone. Say welcome to Area 50. Well, first, I guess Green White Checkered TV with Area 51 Racing League. Say these guys couldn't help themselves; they had to do another race, so we're gonna have a fun one here tonight with the Cup cars here at the iRacing Superspeedway. Is gonna be a wild one. Saying they decided that they want to do a little bit of a cash race here this evening. So right now qualifying is going on at the moment. So first award that's going to go out tonight is going to be the pole award. Winner of that will get $25, and then will be the race itself, with first place taking $90 home, second place $45, and third place taking $25 home. So yeah, I really want to thank everybody with the Area 51 League, some of the drivers, some of the teams, all kind of pitching in to be able to put on this event. So it should be a lot of fun. And yeah, exactly like you said, Jimmy, hopefully everybody had a good Christmas. Say it's definitely kind of a bit of a whirlwind on my end, but it's definitely nice to be able to see as many people as I was able to. So hopefully everybody else is able to enjoy theirs as well, and of course also had a safe holiday as well. So yeah, so say qualifying just about finishing up here. So we'll take a look and see. It looks like we've got about 30 seconds left. We'll see if anybody's got some sad bags in their car trying to make their final ditch effort here to see if they can get that pole position. And we will get things going and say we'll pull up, if we can, I'll say we'll try to pull up our pole sitters, see if we can have a chat with them as well, depending on who it is. Alright, and so actually it looks like a little bit of hiccups on my overlay, so give me a moment there. However, it looks like pole position is going to go to the number 87 of Raymond Rittenauer. So I'll try to see if I can get a word with him in here just a second. First I gotta get my overlays working correctly. Alright, now I think we got everything going. So let's go ahead and pull in our pole sitter here. So I think he's waiting to hop on here before the gridding officially starts. So I want to make sure he gets gridded up before I grab him in there, just to make sure there's no little surprises, anything like that. 'Cause that's the last thing I want to do, is to mess up anybody's race here before it begins. And now we'll be able to pull him in. So say we're about to get going here, Raymond, but so you're gonna be the first award of the evening in that pole award. So say it's gonna make you $25 richer. So that's a good way to start things off here this evening. I say obviously this is definitely a wild one compared to Daytona Talladega, but I know you and your teammates, I'm sure this is one that you guys are all gonna be looking forward to. So what's the thought process for tonight's race for you?
Don't die. It's pretty much it. Survival. Hopefully I don't get freight trained here on the start, and everybody gets a good start and we can get a few laps in and hopefully some green flag stops.
Yeah, say fuel window looks like it's going to be around that 20 or so, 22 maybe lap window. Say I see some of your teammates looks like they're going to start from the pits. I'll say it's kind of they're going opposite strategy of you, it's looking like. So you may not have your friends to start off with right away, but say knowing you, knowing your team, you guys are going to find your way to the front as this race progresses.
Yeah, starting the pits too, but I figured since I got the pole I better start, so we'll see how it goes.
And all right, good luck, Raymond. Hopefully we'll be able to chat with you here at the end.
Alright.
Alright, that is our pole sitter, Raymond Rittenauer. Do a quick rundown of our starting grid here for tonight's event. So again, our pole sitter, Raymond Rittenauer, able to hold off his teammate Duke Conran by 9,000ths of a second. Then you got Travis Turnmeyer, Gabe Butler, Charles Johnson, Logan Helton, Mark Carpenter, Jim Brooks are in the top 8. 9th through 16th here, you've got Christopher Kresge, Kevin Fries, Steve Richard, Charles Teed, Matt Quick, Kevin Hash, Andre Heidstra, Matt Wagner. Then you got Nicholas Winnook, Dustin Ollis, Kevin DeBrown, Thomas Fisher, Garrett Wolfenbarger, Bud Steele, Alexander Van Desant, Jack Walls. You got Billy Sigmund, Andrew Pleshy, Christopher Lawrence, Randy Lanning, Ted Decker Jr., Rick Cadott, Benjamin Combs, Gary Corley. And I think pace car's about to drop, so I won't be able to catch quite all of them. However, I will make sure we get through everybody here as this race progresses. As I say that, though, the green flag is out, so we are down and away against scheduled distance. Tonight's race is going to be 75 laps. So we'll see again. A lot of new names, new faces with these drivers. Going to say there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve with some of them. Try to make sure they get comfortable. We see some of those guys that started from the pits. They're just rolling out of the pits now, so they're going to get locked on here and try to catch back up to this group. But I think more importantly for them is just try to stay out of trouble here early on in this race. Like I said, a lot of new names, a lot of new faces. Definitely potential for trouble early on in this race. However, early start here, I think advantage is going to be going to Charles Johnson. He's got Logan Helton giving a big push down the backstretch. Those two are going to clear entering turn number 3. So say right now Raymond not going to get a lap lead at this point in the race, which again at this point really doesn't matter. But say as it comes down through the front stretch here, no tri-oval. So going to be Charles Johnson leading that first lap here at iRacing Superspeedway. So this track is about probably 5 to 6 lanes wide. You can probably comfortably fit definitely 4 wide. It's just, again, it's going to be a lot of just drivers getting comfortable with each other, getting familiar with things up front here. I see Logan Helton. He's going to take a look to get to that inside. He's got Raymond Rittenauer working with him here now, as Charles is going to jump to the top here. Just doesn't have the drafting help. And say one thing with this car and track combo, there is no restrictor plates with this one, so these cars are going about 250 miles an hour down the straightaways in the draft here. And you see the way that the cars kind of like drop into the banking. It's kind of like, let's say the best way we've been describing, it's kind of like a Dover on steroids, where you got the really steep banking down the straightaways, but then you also have to deal with some of the stuff further back in the field as well, where if you're running low on the entry, it's really easy to catch that apron and wash up badly. So that's going to be some of the things that these drivers are really going to have to keep an eye out for here tonight. They'll jump around. Oh, as you see right there, Andrew Pleshy just caught the apron, able to hang on to their big moment for that 81, but great hands, able to hang on to that one. So you can see right here on board here, Charles Teed is kind of right in the middle here. You can see there between, I believe that was the 67. I'm trying to catch them. That's Andre Heidstra, and then below him is Dustin Hollis in the 40. Dustin Ollis, apologies. I say there be some new names for me to pick up on here. You also see Logan Helton's there up on the top side. So this is going to be the stuff. This is where things get a little dicey when you start getting that 2, 3, 4 wide. It's really easy to just wash up that little bit and have things happen up front. However, now Raymond Rittenauer, though, in that number 687 car, he's been able to get himself now back out into the front. Trying to make his move further forward here after getting that pole position. And as I say that, one of his teammates in the back there, Gabe Butler, who's decided to start from the pits, they're about 17 seconds off the lead. However, they've obviously got pace because they were the fastest cars on track that last time by almost a full second. So with whatever they're doing together, it's definitely working well here. That being said, though, we've got a lead change here up at the front. Steve Richard, he's going to take the top now. So he got a good push there from that 93 of Kevin Brown. Now Kevin's going to see if he can get that momentum on his side and get that number 93 car to the front here as well. So behind him, he's got the 37 of Mark Carpenter. Oh, as I said that, we have a caution, so first yellow of the event. It's a little further back in the field here, trying to see if we can hunt it down. I see one Thomas Fisher's involved in there. It looks like Andrew Pleshy as well. I see Charles Johnson as well. Bud Steele in the 6 as well. So it's going to put us under our first caution here on lap number 6. Let's go ahead and try to take a look and see where all of this started off at. Alright, so we focus on that number 43 Ally machine, the 59 behind him. You see he catches the apron, washes up, and the 59 tries to kind of fit the middle there. Doesn't quite make it, though. And then from there, unfortunately, there's just not much a lot of these drivers can do. You see, Jim Brooks, he catches it. Also, Andrew Pleshy here. So you see a lot of cars are getting caught up in this and anything. And the banking is just so steep here. It's really hard to see what's going on around. I think I also saw, there's the 59 we mentioned, Thomas Fisher. See further in the back, the 43 gets a couple of shots there as well. Looks like a couple may have just snuck through. They see Matt Wagner, the 99. He looks like he just made it through. You see 67 coming through with a pretty big head of steam there as well. Looks like he got through it as well. And then trying to catch a couple car numbers up top here. I think that's the... No, it's not the 27. Let's try 60. So there's a few other cars. I couldn't quite catch the car numbers. Apologies on that. But yeah, so it's going to definitely catch up a few of our drivers here. Saying it looks like everybody's going to pretty much take advantage of this one. I'm going to hit the pits here. So far, not seeing anybody staying out. Yeah, it looks like pit road's going to be busy here. And the other thing with this track as well, with this being a bigger track, is the fact that you're gonna, if you don't pit the first time, if you pit the second time, you will get penalized. So that's going to be something you have to be careful for. You see Kevin Brown, he's going to jump out of the lead here. He's going to take fuel only in that number 93 car. It looks like the 40. It looks like Dustin Allis is going to come out in second. So a little bit of mixed strategy with some of these drivers here, going ahead and some taking 2, some taking 4. And then you can see just a lot of different cars kind of doing different strategies here, and just everybody's kind of mixed up in their pit boxes. So it looks like that's also kind of running into things a little bit as well. So, these drivers are going to run around here. We'll take a look. Looks like a few drivers did have to take a faster pair for sure on that one. I know the 76 of Jim Brooks was pretty obvious he did, which kind of brings us to a nice segue of the faster pairs for tonight's event. It did look like there were 2 available faster pairs for tonight's race. So I'll say that's going to come into handy for some of these drivers. Obviously, unfortunately, 76 car definitely had to use one right away. And then I'm sure there's probably a couple others that had to. I'm trying to look at pit stop time, see if anybody maybe went ahead and just tried to do longer pit stops to get their damage repaired manually. However, though, say with that pit strategy, though, that 93 of Kevin Brown, he's going to cycle through as our race leader. And the other thing that goes on now is with him being in the lead on this restart, he'll have control. He can drop whenever he wants to go. Everybody's going to have to react to him. On the initial start, it goes on the green flag, so he's going to have a little bit more control over this restart. You see Raymond Rittenauer, he's going to hit the pits. I think his plan right there was just to kind of, he got that pole position like he wanted to do, got the $25. Now he wants to try to drop to the back here and run with his teammates, and I think kind of let this race sort itself out a little bit before he really starts to kind of go what his full potential is going to be. You can see that 93 car definitely saving fuel here early on. You see him clutching it a little bit there. So that's just one of those things. You can definitely do that here, and that's a way to save a little bit of extra fuel. So I say every little bit's definitely going to count. I'm sure some of the drivers that are topping off here on the one to go, one of it's probably to get away from some of the stuff up front, but then also part of it also just to try to be in a safer spot, most likely. It's just kind of a strategy call that you can definitely do at these tracks here. So what I'll do real quick is, since we didn't, so there's some of the drivers we missed there on the grid. So you see Gary Corley was in, I think he was one of those ones in that incident, unfortunately though. We have Billy Sigmund, Andrew Pleshy, Christopher Lawrence, Randy Lanning, Ted Decker Jr., Rick Cadotte, Benjamin Combs, and Gary Corley. And then the remainder here, you've got Douglas Johnson, Michael Provolt, James Ledford, Thomas Holder, Paul Fletcher, Bobby Everhart, Michael Givorns, and Paul Sheldon. Alright, we're going to see the pace car duck off here, so that's going to put it into the hands of that 93 car. I say again, it's up to Kevin when he wants to drop and get things going here. So now, again, they're going to be careful with the tire spin, especially some of those that may have just topped off on fuel. So that's going to be goal number 1 is just get a clean restart. And it looks like as a whole, everybody's done a pretty good job up front here. So they try to take a look a little further back, but couldn't quite get it. There we go. Yeah, everybody looks like they got there cleanly. But you see, though, Kevin is able to hold on to the lead for the moment, but he's going to have a hard charging Charles Johnson not too far away from him. It looks like Charles is going to help from that number 40 car, while the 93's got the 83 of Jack Walls and the 33 and that is of Nicholas Winook. And as I say that, Charles Johnson's able to get that push. He sneaks down to the inside right in front of that 93 car entering turn number 3. I'll say now looks like the 39 again, Steve Richard. He's going to get back to the front again. Really big push from Logan Helton. Looks like Logan feels very comfortable pushing there in that number 63 car. So I think he's definitely going to be one you're going to want to try to hook up with. And actually was able to get underneath the 39 through the turn. So he's going to go from being that pusher to try to get the lead here on the inside, getting help now from the number 9 of Charles Johnson. He's got Kevin Brown right behind him, and still Nicholas Winook in that 33 car on the inside. You see just behind them, I saw a little bit of 3 wide there with the 83 of Jack Walls. Looks like they've settled things back out just for the moment here. He's got the 37, so you're trying to learn some of these names here and car numbers. Mark Carpenter in the 37 car, he is right there in that mix as well. And you got the 22 Krispy Kreme machine of Christopher Kresge there. He is showing in the 8th spot right now. Charles Johnson, though, just pushing that 63 down the backstretch here, and saying this is you can definitely do this. You can definitely tandem. It'll definitely give you some speed. The risk, though, is these cars, again, without the restrictor plates, these cars are screaming with the speeds and the RPMs that they're pulling. So it's really easy to get that car hot quickly. So he's really got to keep an eye on that oil and water temperature. Because you can't stay tucked up for too long. So I've definitely heard that when you're locked on behind them, that those temperatures really climb quickly. Right now, the field's pretty much spread out into 2 groups for the most part. Pretty much the whole lead pack here is all in this first group. So right now, I think the last car in this group is that 99 of Matt Wagner. So knowing Matt, he's just kind of waiting, biding his time as well. So I'm sure he's going to find his way to the front when it's really time to go. Then I mentioned those teammates, though, as well with Raymond Rittenauer and company. You can see they're all just kind of cruising here behind each other. So you see Raymond, he was kind of still ahead of them in the restart there. But he's going to have Dude Conrad, Travis Turnmeyer, Kevin Freeze, Gabe Butler, Matt Quick, Kevin Hash. So he's going to have all of these drivers here with him. He's going to let them go on by here. So this is their strategy call right here. As we get back to the front, though, Jack Wall is now back to the lead here with help from that 93 of Kevin Brown. So right now, these up here with the momentum these cars have and just the draft you can get, it's just so easy to get the right, get a push, get the momentum. And so you're going to see a lot of movement, a lot of lead changes here. In this race, as I said, of 93 of Kevin Brown, he's going to take the lead again. As there you see, close there between the 63 and the 39. They both went for that same marker at the same time. Just kept it off of each other there, but that was almost a big moment there. Entering turn number 4 there. I don't have my little map, so unfortunately I don't have my cheat sheet to see where they are on track here. So I said we'll jump to the back here of the gearbox of Logan Helton, because it won't last for very long. So he's got help for the moment with Steve Richard, but as I was going to say, it's not going to last long. Someone's going to jump up top, and it's going to be that number 93 of Kevin Brown. He's going to get to the top here. We'll see if he gets any help, but right now he's pretty much hung out here on his own. And that's the game we talked about with the draft. You've got to have help, and you see now the 39 Steve Richard, he's going to jump to the top. Now Logan's kind of getting left out on the inside line, which is not something you see very often. And then Jack Wall is actually able to squeeze the gap between himself and the 63 car at the 39. Jack Wall is going to move himself now back up into the lead in that number 83 Pennzoil car. Saying that's always we joke about with Jack Walls is that's all he's looking for. If he can have a bright yellow Pennzoil car, he's happy, and so he'll find his way to get to the front in that machine. So try to jump around a little bit here, try to catch some drivers here. So one that I haven't really talked about yet is that 95 here. That's Michael Provolt. So trying to catch the paint scheme here. He's in that Summit Racing machine. There he is in that number 95 car. Just outside the top 10 right now. Actually looks like he dropped back a bunch of spots there. Now dropped out to about the 20th or so spot, but He was one of the biggest gainers that previous lap, as they went from 34th into the top 10 or so. Saying that just shows how fast those things can change. Let's say one of the other drivers that's made a big run up to the front is that 388 there. Behind that Krispy Kreme machine, that's Douglas Johnson from 33rd to 10th here early on in this race. So say it really, this track especially is one of those ones where it doesn't matter where you start. So you can find your way up to the front if you want to. Just depends on what you're trying to do and when. But you can see there, that's a perfect example of the banking difference between the apron and the track there. That's what you have to be careful about for the runs here, is just to make sure that they don't get that catch the apron and kind of catch the banking difference, because that's really where things get pretty wild there. See another driver kind of showing his face here early on in this one. It says the 26 Christopher Lawrence. He's there in that Chevrolet Camaro ZL1. So he's showing in just about the 5th position here. So he's moved himself up into this group here. As you can see, Charles Johnson take a peek to the inside. He couldn't go anywhere with it though at that point, so he's gonna have to duck back in line. I'll see the 43, good recovery for him as well, with Garrett Wolfenbarger. Say obviously was unfortunate, caught up in that earlier incident, but again with those fast repairs, not sure what kind of damage he had, but I would kind of go out and guess and say he probably did use a fast repair. So he's right now back into this main pack as well. As you can see right now, it looks like for the most part we've got pretty much the main pack here in this lead draft right now. Looks like one of the last cars in the lead draft here is on that 39 now of Steve Richard. He's dropped to the back after being up front. And then you got that number 29, the mystery machine, if you will, of Randy Lanning in that Ford Mustang. So yeah, so I was talking about the 99 of Matt Wagner. He's actually dropped back to these guys. Not sure if he lost the draft or if he decided to just kind of get to the back and maybe play it a little bit safer here. But yeah, so say right now you got two pretty good groups here, but again though, about 15 seconds apart of each other. And I say we talked about the fuel window being in that 20-22 lap range possibly. I say this has been a pretty good green flag run here so far. They've gone about 13 laps. I say don't want to commentators curse it, hopefully, but I say they're less than 10 laps away, or yeah, definitely less than 10 laps away from the potential green flag pit stop. And I don't think that's going to be anything that these drivers anticipated having to do. And again, we talked about the transition on the banking to the apron. It's a big transition. I mean, you see these cars, they basically bounce off of it. So it's not enjoyable. So these drivers have to be very careful about doing that. Yeah, things still holding, as they kind of got the same cast of characters for the most part up front. And we just saw, and this is actually a perfect example, Steve Richard. We just talked about him being all the way back in like the 20th or so position, and just how quick you can work your way back up in there. Say he's now showing just about right outside the top 10 there, in 11th place in that 39 car. So if you want to get to the front, you definitely can. So just really about making your moves, when you make your moves and where. But it's obvious you can definitely make some moves here. And again, I'm sure the aggression is probably not quite at the level of where it will be later on in this race, but just shows that definitely things can be done if you really want to get up there at some point during this event. See up front though, Jack Wall still leading the way though, so he's got pretty good help from the 63 of Logan Helton. See Kevin Brown, he's up into that 3rd spot. So as you mentioned, Christopher Lawrence still holding on to 4th. In that number 26 machine. So trying to catch some drivers that maybe haven't had a chance to mention too much. 32 is one of those, Billy Sigmund. He's in that Kodak film car there. He's right inside the top 15 here. Started 25th, so definitely has moved forward here. But so he's kind of running, in my opinion, kind of a safe spot. Really, I kind of like being kind of on the inside if you can. I feel like that's kind of the safer place to be in this pack here. That being said, though, if you want to be in the safest place, that's going to be back here with these two. As long as they don't lose the draft, they're a little bit dangerously close to losing the draft here, unfortunately. But say the other groups that are a little bit further back, they see the 7 Gary Corley. Say Gary's probably exactly where I'd be at this point. If I had my way, I'd be pretty much just cruising right at the back of this lead pack. Trying to save some fuel because, again, the pit stop's probably about 5 laps away most likely. And, again, that's going to really, I think, mix up this running order in tonight's race. You can see, though, the inside line definitely has the momentum right now. You see Logan Helton, he went to the top. So he was about second. He's fallen back to about 4th or 5th here in that number 63 car. Say Jack Walls, though, so he's definitely, they're kind of pretty comfortable, it seems like, following that number 83 Pennzoil machine. Say at first it was Logan pushing him for a long time. Now Kevin's up there with him in the number 93. So right now those have been the guys that have pretty much been most of the way up front here during this race. Again, say the yellow line rule is in effect at this track, so say there is no passing below the yellow, so hopefully that doesn't come into play. But just one more thing these drivers are going to have to take into account too for everything that's going on. Again, though, say we're about to start lap number 19, if I'm not mistaken, of this run. So again, that pit window, say it's looming, and I'm curious if we're going to get to it, because I think that's going to really change the complexion of this race. If all the drivers can get through it cleanly as well. One driver I haven't talked about yet is that 77 of Benjamin Combs. Say he's one of the Area 51 regulars. He's right now in 13th or so position. Started 31st, so again, a lot of these drivers making good moves here early on, getting to the front if they choose to. Like I said, a lot of mixed strategies right now of some of those drivers that are kind of about 15 seconds off the lead. Unfortunately, I mentioned the 22 Christopher Kresge. He did lose the draft. He's dropping back. He's going to pretty much fall into the clutches of that second group because he's running about 2 seconds a lap slower right now by himself. So again, with this lead pack here, they're going about 250 before they enter the turns here. So just shows how quick these cars are without any restrictions and the draft here as well. Back up front, though, we've got a good little battle here for the lead between Jack Walls and Logan Helton, kind of going back and forth between the two of them. You see Logan, he's got help from Nicholas Winook in the 33 car. Jack still got help from that 93 of Kevin DeBrown here. So let's say right now they're just kind of, I think, just kind of biding their time. And say I think things have really settled in nicely here. Again, hopefully no jinxing that, but these drivers definitely looks like they've gotten a lot more comfortable with each other just with these couple of laps. Let's say we're about lap 26 of 75, so about a third of the way through tonight's race. But again, I think as they see it close there between the 83 and the 63 on the entry there, entering turn number 1, that's really the dangerous part there, is if you're on the inside line, it's really easy to wash up to that outside line. And if you're on that outside line, you got to make sure you kind of give a little bit of room just in case, especially at this point in the race. I think you'll see that, but later on you might see them kind of squish that gap a little bit more. This is one of the best angles to see just the banking difference between the banking and the apron there. And that's what's going to be the critical part, is these drivers, again, you're going about 230, I would say, to when you get off the banking or get out of the turns, 230, 240 most likely. So, I mean, you got to get down to, I think it's about 65 miles an hour. So you're going to be on the brakes quick. And if you're pitting in a big group here, it's going to be definitely touch and go. As you can see, the 63 Logan Helton, he drops in quickly because I think that pit window is just about to open here. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. I saw Christopher Kresge in the 22. He actually had to make a pit stop. So I'll say we'll keep an eye up front because I think that might be opening up here. A couple of these drivers come. Let's see if they can get down to speed on okay or not, because this is going to be the touch and go part of it here. And you see one there catches the inside wall. I think that was the I'm trying to catch the car number there. It was that Kodak machine, unfortunately. Looks like he went ahead and took a tow. So it looks like for the most part, though, the first stop went pretty well for this group. This first group here looks like about 6-7 cars on this first step. So now it's going to be probably led by the second group here with Kevin DeBrown. Garrett Wolfenbarger is going to be the next one in line, and then you've got the 63 Logan Helton. So I think some of these guys have been up front, so I think they're going to have to make this pit stop here. Some might be able to go a little further. You can see him just bouncing off, though. You see, oh, Charles Johnson in the 9 car had a big moment there. Yeah, we got a lot of cars making contact here on the entry. So this was the concern that I was talking about. See drivers making some evasive action to try to get through. And that was definitely one of the worries I had. So now the question is, does anybody else try to stretch this out a little further here? Trying to see, I think the 40. We got 2 cars that are stretching at 1 more lap here. Looks like Dustin Ollis and Steve Richards, they're staying out and going a little further. And then the next group, I believe, also, like I mentioned, those that did not pit that first, or that fell to the back, I should say. I see Travis Turnmeyer, Gabe Butler, Kevin Freeze, Matt Quick, Kevin Hash. Looks like they've stayed out. So this is going to be the second to last group, I should say, that's going to hit the pits. Again, you see the brake, just they get really loose on the entry here. So that's going to now, we'll jump back to this group here because I believe they'll be the next group to make their pit stops here. We'll take a look. Oh, actually, just the 54 here. So the 88 Gabe Butler, he's going 1 more lap. So I believe this is going to cycle everything out now to this group of 4 being our leaders here. So all we'll have to do is we'll wait for them to make their stops to kind of try to catch up where everybody is, because there are a few cars that got trapped a lap down with that whole pit cycle. So unfortunately, I don't have a track map to use to give you a little bit of better insight as to who is where. But yeah, so say this is right now, it's definitely going to shake things up a little bit up front here. You see the 89 Matt Quick, he's going to jump around the top to the bottom here. He makes a big move here before he hits the pits. I think this is going to bring all of his teammates in with him as well. And again, this is where they got to be real careful. Hopefully they get their brake biases adjusted well. And it looks like all of them got a nice clean entry there. And so I think with the pit stop cycle here, I think it's going to cycle through. I was about to say Steve Richard, but I think it's going to now jump over to the 63 of Logan Helton. And Jack Walls, I believe these are going to be... Oh, actually, no, I think Jack Walls maybe trapped a lap here. Let me see. Yeah, Jack Walls showing actually trapped a lap down. Not sure if he may have had a stop and hold penalty. So, again, the field really spread out during that pit stop cycle, and that's about what I was suspecting. So we're going to have to wait and see what the intervals are going to look like as that number 63 is going to get through here back to the lead. And it looks like he's got about 2 seconds, but the problem is he's got a big group behind him. And so you see you got Alexander Van de Sant leading that group. Then you've got Michael Provolt, Steve Richard, Bud Steele, Dustin Ollis, Garrett Wolfenbarger, and Nicholas Winook. So we got about 8 cars on the lead that are in this second group as well. So yeah, so I think this group of 7 or 8 or so are going to definitely be able to catch that 63 car. Logan Helton, but you can see though on the ticker on the left though, just how spread out everything got through that pit stop. You see Jim Brooks in 9th, he's about 9 seconds out, and you got Thomas Holder, Andrew Pleshy in that little group as well. So field very, very spread out here. So yeah, right now, if you're that number 63, you're just going to do exactly what you're doing here. As you see, they're coming up to the number 93 of Kevin DeBrown. Kevin's right now on the tail end of the lead lap in that 93 car. Same situation here as Jack Walls as well. So what Kevin's going to want to do is he's going to tag onto these 2 here right away, minimize any time loss in that number 93 car. That way, if there's a yellow, he either ideally is in front of the leader or at least is going to be the first car one down. So we'll definitely watch that 93 car. He's going to try to tuck onto this group right here. And the other thing this is going to do is actually this is going to help their speed out a little bit as well. They'll be a little bit quicker with the 3 of them. Saying again, these were 3 of the drivers that were up front early on. So I feel like they're going to be pretty comfortable with that draft being able to work together here. Because actually, that last time by, Logan Helton ran at 43.7. That group behind ran at 44.2. So about 0.5 of a second, half a second quicker for Logan Helton that last time around. And you see Kevin has caught that lead pack here. You see they've actually split 2 by 2 behind him, so we'll switch over to the 6 now. Bud Steele, he's starting to try to lead this second train here on the top side with Nicholas Winook. You can say they've got about, yeah, it looks like 8 cars right now. They're all pretty much running 2 by 2 here. Again, there are some theories that 2 by 2. Oh, as I say that, you see the 95, he makes contact with, I believe that was, let's jump over to the next. So that's definitely going to bring out the caution. There it is. Say, unfortunately, Michael Provolt say now you got to hope that everybody sees the cars as they come by the huge head of steam. So that's going to put us under caution. I think that's going to be a huge break for Jack Walls and Kevin DeBrown. We'll have to see where they were when the caution came out. However, let's go back and take a look. I think it kicked off with the 95. I think he got into the back of the 33. And again, this is that inside. I was talking about being on the inside on the entry of these turns. It's just easy to wash up. You can see he gets the entry, but he starts just washing up. Actually, almost catches the 6 of Bud Steele, and then he catches the 33. A little bit of net code, but it was pretty much bound to happen at that point. And you see the 317. He gets into him as well. And then Nicholas Winook, unfortunately, he's going to go for a ride there. It's a heavy or pretty hard transition between the two. You see that motor, looks like that motor has blown up, unfortunately. So yeah, so that's going to be our first yellow of the, or second yellow, I should say, of the evening. I see a couple cars with blown motors there. Also, the 32, I believe that was, yeah, Billy Sigmund as well. He's got a blown motor in his car. So yeah, so say the other thing we've got to check for is, I want to check with that 93. And if you look, yeah, so he's actually at the back of the field here. So he was able to get that, he was ahead of the 63 of Logan Helton when that caution came out. So that's a huge break for him. He won't have to worry about the wave round. The wave round, I believe, will actually go to Charles Teed in the 27 car. Let's jump over to the 27 here. I think he might already be making his way around. Keep an eye on that. But so let's jump back over to our leaders here, because I say, again, we're going to see pit stops. And I believe this will be actually in the window here, as we're going to be pitting with 40 to go. This will get them in the window where they can pit here and then make it on one more stop. So that's going to be a big thing for a lot of these drivers. It's also going to be a huge break for a lot of those drivers that lost a lot of time under that pit stop cycle as well. So you saw that Logan Helton, though, definitely had the best of the pit stops of that lead pack there under that green flag stop, as he's going to hit his pits here under yellow. Looks like, again, a little bit of mixed strategy for a few drivers. It looks like a few maybe not taking 4 tires there. Looks like Bud Steele in the 6 car. Looks like he's going to go ahead and stick with fuel only. And I believe also taking that strategy is the 43. That's going to be Garrett Wolfenbarger. He's going to do the same thing there. So those two are going to come out 1-2. But third place is still going to go to Logan Helton with those 4 fresh tires. And I mentioned again the potential of tire spin on the restarts. That's going to still come into play here. Let's say we'll jump around though. I want to double check, make sure everybody else in the pits is able to get through clean. You see Charles Johnson there. I also wanted to check on some of those drivers that were at the tail end here. You see this 93 of Kevin Brown. Looks like he's made his, no, he has not made his pit stop yet. I think he's going to probably hit the pits now, I would presume. Well, he would, but he's on the backstretch, so not sure. So I got a couple drivers here that don't look like they made pit stops here. I'll have to see what's going on there. May have just got trapped out where the yellow was and weren't able to actually hit the pits. Same thing looks like for the 22 of Christopher Kresge. Looks like they're both in that same boat. And I'm trying to see. Yeah, somehow the way this caution fell, there's a lot of drivers somehow got trapped on the tail end of the lead lap here. You can see in front of that group is that, I mentioned that 27 of Charles Teed, thinking he was going to be the lucky dog. I think we're going to get the 1 to go here. And yes, so sure enough we are. So he's going to get his wave around there. The thing is, so are a lot of these cars in front of that 63 of Logan Helton. Or actually, no, I'm sorry, of the 43 of Garrett Wolfenbarger. So say something went on there with that pit stop cycle there, where a lot of drivers had to take the wave around to get back on track, and I think that's why we saw a few of those drivers decide to stay out, like Christopher Kresge, Gary Corley, Kevin DeBrown. They've got about 9 to 12 laps on their tires and fuel, so they probably can go about 10, 11 more laps before they would need to pit again. So it's not ideal situation for them, but I think their concern was getting trapped a lap down. So I think there were some damaged cars that were still on track, unfortunately. I think that's what may have kind of got everybody in a bad spot there. So once all the wave around cars come through, that's going to give us 29 cars, looks like, left in the race, all of which will be on the lead lap. Again, though, the main thing is going to still be the fuel strategy. Is they're still going to have at least one more pit stop to the end for the leaders. A couple drivers are probably going to be hoping for a yellow to be able to get themselves back into back on the same cycle as our leaders here. But up front, though, it's going to be that 43 Garrett Wolfenbarger. He's going to be our leader going on to this restart. Again, he has control of this restart, so it's basically once he decides to go, everybody's going to try to react to him. And actually, as I said, it looks like lights are back on the pace car, so I think they're trying to get things settled back out here. I think there was maybe a little bit of a mix-up on the pit side of things, so I'm going to take a look here to see if anybody's going to hit the pits, possibly. And it looks like, no, it looks like everybody's having to stay out, so I think if they... Well, actually, I see one hitting the pits there. This 27 of Charles Teed. So it's like one driver here. He's going to go ahead and pit. So the only concern for me is if he's going to be able to do that without getting penalized. Because basically the way it works with iRacing at these bigger tracks is if you don't pit the first time, the pits close the second time around because they have quick cautions here at the tracks 2 miles and bigger. So like Michigan, Auto Club, Daytona, Talladega, and of course the iRacing Superspeedway. So I'll have to keep an eye on that. Hopefully it doesn't come into play here, but we'll have to keep an eye and see if Charles Teed has to make an unscheduled pit stop coming to green potentially. However, again, like I mentioned, though, it's going to be that 43, though, of Garrett Wolfenbarger. He's going to be leading this restart in that number 43 Alley machine. To his outside, he's going to have Bud Steele. Behind him, Logan Helton, who's definitely shown he's had a lot of pace here. Steve Richard as well in 39 car. We've seen him kind of go to the front, drop to the back, go to the front again. So I think that 39 car definitely is just seeing what he can do and where he needs to position that car to be in prime position once it's time to go. So it should be pretty exciting to see here. But again, still going to restart with 36 to go, so still a lot of time to go. Like I said, one more pit stop for sure until everybody makes it to the end. So we'll have to kind of wait and see what the plan is going to be for these guys. Again, pretty nice winnings for the drivers here tonight. Pole sitter went to that number 87 of Raymond Rittenauer. He got $25, and winner's going to get $90. Second, $45. Third, $25. So now it's up to that 43. Pace car's off. He'll be able to drop whenever he's ready. You see that 27, Charles Teed, looks like he is going to have to serve a pit penalty there in the 27 car. Again, this is where they got to be careful about the tire spin on these restarts. Looks like everybody's got through cleanly here, though. And I do not think we're going to see a lot of drivers here kind of fall to the back and kind of just ride out of the draft. I think they might try to hold into the back of the lead pack, but I don't think they're going to fall off the draft here at this point in this race here. However, Logan Hilton wasting no time, got good help there from that number 317 of Alexander Van de Sant. Kind of a new name here for Area 51, at least that I'm aware of. I've seen him in some other leagues. Definitely does a lot of open wheel racing. So he's kind of getting his maybe getting his stock car feet wet. Hard to say. A lot of these drivers just able to do a little bit of everything though. So right now Logan's going to lead that lap there, but they're 3 wide behind him here. Right now the 39 Steve Richard kind of stuck in no man's land here in the middle. Going to try to see if we can get things double filed out, but you can see right now still holding 3 wide here with that 6 of Bud Steele. And actually the 317, he gets a good run through the middle top side. He's going to take over the lead here as they go in the backstretch. And as I say that, Logan Helton, he's going to jump back to the top. He's going to see if he can get back around that 317 car here entering turn number 3. And you can see Logan, you can see a lot of cars, they kind of hit that transition between the entry, like I mentioned, like Dover, where you kind of drop into the corner. He definitely has the entry timed well. You can see a lot of cars, they enter and then they kind of bounce and wash up. Logan's got the entry timed, or he gets it cut down there and that car sticks on the bottom. And that's really critical to be able to make these moves that he's doing, because if you wash up, you're going to lose time, you're going to lose positions. I think that's a big reason why Logan's able to do what he's doing right now and running up towards the front here. jump around just a little bit there. You see the 93 of Kevin Brown. He's trying to squeeze himself down to the inside here. Again, I say he's one of those drivers that wasn't able to pit under that yellow, I think, again, at the risk of possibly getting trapped a lap down. So he went ahead and stayed out. Same goes for the 22 of Christopher Kresge, who's right there with him. Oh, as you see, a little bit of contact. You see the 76 of Jim Brooks. He's had to jump way up to the top. Looks like he's got some right front damage to that car. Yeah, definitely has some damage to that car. So we'll see if he's able to get things going again. So the problem is he's going to lose a lot of speed here. He's going to maybe try to tag onto some of these guys in front of him. If he can hold on to that draft, that's going to be his best chance. But that car looks like it's really hurt though. So didn't quite catch what happened, unfortunately, there. However, with everything going on right now, I don't really want to jump back and miss anything up front here at this point in the race. As right now, again, Logan Helton still leading the way here. You got Alexander Van de Sant right behind him, and then the leader at the restart, the 43 of Garrett Wolfenbarger. He is now in third. And up to fourth, though, I haven't mentioned him too much lately, the 81 of Andrew Pleshy. He's kind of making his name known here at this point in this race. Andrew started in 26th, is made now up to fourth. You see Kevin Brown again. He's going to still need to pit here before these other guys. Same thing goes for that 22 of Christopher Kresge and the 7 of Gary Corley. So that's going to be, again, that's going to be what we're going to have to watch for here. See Jack Walls there in the 83 right on the back bumper of that 00 of Thomas Holder. So you can see things are definitely getting pretty tight here. As I mentioned, some of those drivers may be ready to kind of go a little bit. It looks like it's kind of mixed strategy here. That 25 of Kevin Fries, he decided that he's going to make his charge towards the front there in that 25 Folgers machine. So say he's definitely one of the drivers I'd be one to watch for with his super speedway prowess. It looks like he's also bringing a little bit of friends with him as well. I see the 8 of Dude Conrad right up there with him as well in that blue and white Yorkville machine. So it looks like kind of a mixed bag on some of those teammates on if they want to start moving towards the front yet or not. So, but right now it looks like a couple of them are moving forward here. A couple of them decided this isn't quite their time to kind of show their true pace here. Right now, pretty much 2x2. Say Alexander Van de Sant's kind of leading the top line here. He's got a big push now from that 93 of Kevin Brown. So say Kevin's going to try to probably push him to the front here. We'll see if he can get there. So again, these things get hot quick, and you see again, I talked about how quick you can make your way forward. Kevin Fries in that 25 car, he is right in this pack now. You see he's going to drop to the inside line. Just trying to go where his momentum is going to take him. So we'll see if maybe that momentum is going to shift back to the top, and he might jump back up. But right now, definitely looks like things are going strong on the inside line, so he's going to stick with that right now, as he's definitely inside the top 10 here, showing about 8th position there in that 25 car. I see Van de Sant, he's going to jump to the top there in the 317, so he's going to fall a little bit back, not ready to make his move quite yet as well. As I mentioned again, just a few more laps for a few of those drivers that have to make pit stops, like that 93, the 22, and the 7. The rest of the field can go probably about another 11, 12 more laps. But again, right now, Logan Helton still leading the way here. So I think drivers feeling pretty content following that number 63 car here. So right now, he's got that 43 of Garrett Wolfenbarger right behind him. But you can see again, Kevin Brown still trying to make something happen on the top side. Doesn't have quite the push he probably wants as of yet. But the thing is, he's got to be careful here, because again, he's going to probably have about 2-3 more laps before he's going to need to find his way to the bottom and make a green flag pit stop. Again, he's not on sequence with the other leaders, so his hope is going to be at some point to have a caution to cycle things back out, where he can get lined up and even on kind of even playing field with the rest of the guys here. But right now, just hasn't had that happen to his advantage yet at this point in this race. Douglas Johnson definitely giving him a big push here down the front stretch, so he gets side by side with the 63 on entry, and you can see he gives a little bit of room there on the initial entry there. But I say as the turn progresses, he's going to kind of cheat down just a little bit, try to shorten that turn just a little bit as well, and see if he can get the momentum on the outside. But just right now, again, isn't quite getting the help he wants to have here. As you can see, a few of these drivers starting to move around, trying to figure out what line they want to be in. So Again, it's going to be getting a little bit tight for a few of these drivers. I think the 22, Christopher Kresge, he may be one of the first ones we see in that Krispy Kreme car. I think he's going to have to duck off on the next lap or two. He does stay out one more lap, so he's going to go. This will be 24 laps since he last pitted. Some laps under caution. That's going to, of course, oh, as I said, a huge wreck in the back there. You got the 7 of Gary Corley. I saw the 77 as well. You see drivers trying to avoid it here. Unfortunately, Gary Corley's going to catch the inside wall a little bit further there. And that's going to be the exact break that that the number 93 was looking for, the 22 was looking for. And that's unfortunately, I think Gary Corley is one of those I was hoping for a yellow, but not to be the yellow as well. Let's try to take a better look here and see where this all kicked off. So right now we're watching that number 7 of Gary Corley. He's up on the top side here. So I think he was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. I'm trying to see where it all happened. Actually, oh, you see he's actually kind of squeezing down a little bit. And then, yeah, just actually comes down into the number 77 there, Benjamin Combs. And then from there, just nothing they can do. You see Ted Decker Jr. in the 79 car. He's just in the wrong place at the wrong time. He gets sucked into this as well. And again, these cars going about 250 or so. That 77 is going to take a ride there. You can see he goes up and over here. So he's... yeah, it looks like Ted's going to get a little bit of damage there. Oh, you see the 87 a little further back of Raymond Rittenauer. He's got damage trying to check up for the incident. And I say that again, that's the thing, is there's really no safe place you can be. Oh, Gabe Butler, he gets a little bit of a shot as well. Let's see what I was saying. I think that's where the 50 or the Summit car. Look at the slide that Gabe's doing here. So see if he's able to actually hang on to, because just to hang onto the car like he did there is impressive in itself. Oh, you can see the door just closes on him. He's going to hit the back of Ted Decker Jr. And actually kind of warps through a little bit. It looks like he definitely did get damage out of it, though. So with that, though, say that is going to bring out the caution. Yeah, and there's the motor damage for the 88 machine. However, pit stops are underway. Again, that was a huge break for some of our drivers that were definitely not in the position that they wanted to be. So it's going to put Logan Helton back into the pits. And so it looks like bringing pretty much everybody. Surprisingly, though, I'm not sure why. Bud Steele, he's going to stay out. It looks like Jim Brooks is getting the wave around in that number 76 car. So it's going to put Jim back onto the lead lap. Honestly, actually, oh, yeah, that's right. He had the damage earlier, so I think he probably had to use his fast repair. That's what I was looking for. So he's probably got what he has the rest of the way. He's going to have to be careful to manage that thing. And then, yeah, so I think everybody else, though, they're pretty much going to make their pit stops here. And it looks like at this point in this race, there's a lot of drivers that they want to keep that track position. Logan Helton, he goes for fuel only. 43 car does the same. A few drivers looks like decided to stay, or not stay out, I'm sorry. The rest of the field looks like for the most part decided to stay out. One of the first drivers to take 4 is going to be the 93 of Kevin DeBrown. And then the 83, I'm trying to find him here. Jack Walls. Looks like Jack in the 83 took fuel only in his car as well. So going to be a little bit of mixed bag strategy here on 2 tires, 4 tires. So we'll have to keep an eye and see how that's going to shake out. But again, though, I'm a little surprised, though. I'm not sure why Bud stays out here. Because there's no way he can make it to the end from here. He's going to have to pit in probably about 5-6 laps, I feel like, after the restart. So we'll have to keep an eye on that 6 car and see what his strategy is going to be on this one. And actually, now that I'm looking at the numbers, although it looks like he might be pitting, I'm a little worried about him. I don't know if the pits are going to be closed for him or not. So he might get a pit penalty on this one. You see, actually, Logan Helton, he's going to jump in as well. So this is going to be the strategy call for some of these drivers. They're going to stay out. They want to have the track position. Other drivers are going to pit here top off because they're going to be right on the window. It's going to be really close. So say this, we'll have to see. I mean, obviously it depends on where the cautions fall, but this could be a fuel mileage finish here at the end. But again, I think aggression is going to be ramping up as we go. So I think we'll probably see at least one more caution in this one. It's actually been pretty good so far. This has only been the 3rd caution here. Again, with a lot of new new names and faces that haven't raced with each other before. So, and I was saying, speaking of that, say obviously you're on the winter break right now, but if you're interested in doing some racing with these guys, the website is area51iracing.com. They race 3 nights a week, are televised here with myself on Green White Checker TV. Tuesday nights are the Indy Series, Thursday night the Cup Series, and Sunday nights the Superspeedway Cup Series. And so I would be willing to suspect you're going to see this track be part of that Superspeedway rotation. So definitely check them out at area51iracing.com if you are interested. Say it's a fun group. I say a lot of good clean racing. We've had a lot of caution-free races so far in season 6. So hats off to those drivers for everything that they've been able to do so far this season. Alright, as I mentioned, lights are off of the pace car. So again, Garrett Wolfenbarger, he's going to be the leader on this restart. Didn't go very well for him in the last one. Say pretty much got shuffled out pretty quickly, but was able to still hold on to the lead pack, just wasn't controlling the race. But that being said, though, so we're about to get things back going again. So it's up to him when to get going once that green flag flies. And we are down and away. Again, you can see the not tire spin per se, but just the way these cars just... it's tough to get the power down. They just kind of want to wash up to the top of the track, but everybody's able to hold on nicely to it here. And say, it looks like right now Garrett's going to hold on to the lead here through 1 and 2. However, you see that top line, they're starting to hook up really well there with Jack Walls and Andrew Pleshy. So we'll see if they can make something happen here, but it looks like they got separated just a little bit, so that's going to probably help this inside line as they go down the back. As I mentioned, some of the new faces we're probably going to start seeing here soon, and it's already starting to happen. Say right behind on the inside line is that number 8 of Dude Conrad. He was one of those drivers that's been kind of cruising earlier on. Also, the 54 Travis Turnmeyer, you see on the outside. We talked about him a little earlier. The 25 of Kevin Fries. He's making his move through the middle here. Say Kevin's ready to make something happen in that number 25 machine. So he's used to being up front here. So he's done his sandbagging. He's ready to go. And so he's getting there in quick fashion here. He's already outside the leader. Going to see if he can clear him here entering turn number 3. And he does just that. So move Kevin Fries now into the lead. Kevin was actually one of those as well that topped off on that 1 to go. So got just a little bit more fuel on 25 car. But again, this is where some of the strategy is going to play out depending on how aggressive do you want to be. I think you're going to see some of these guys that maybe were really aggressive, really fast early on. They might be kind of just cruising here, just try to save fuel, try to see if they can get into that number to make it to the end. So again, right now we have 20 to go. Say they restarted with about, I believe it was 22 to go, 23 to go, something like that. So it's going to be right on the window to make it to the end. So I think that's what we're seeing here. Is there's going to be a little bit of mixed strategy on controlling this race. Versus just trying to save fuel and just pace yourself and try to kind of put yourself in that right position at the right time, depending on if and when any more cautions fall for this event. Like I mentioned, I'll say new faces though. I say Kevin Fries now in the lead, although here comes Dude Conrad to the outside. Thomas Holder though also on the inside line pushing that 25 car. And then again I mentioned it's 54 Travis Turnmeyer. He is part of that group as well. So these guys are all starting to make their moves here early. But I see a few drivers here. I think this is the strategy here is just try to save a little bit of fuel. I think that's what we're seeing from that 43, the 43, the 93. I feel pretty comfortable saying that they're probably just trying to save fuel. You can see kind of they're just cruising the bottom line. They're just trying to keep that little bit of a gap in front of those cars in front of them to just have a little bit of space to play it safe here as well. Probably just trying to run maybe 3/4 throttle or something like that to feel comfortable here to make it to the end. So right now we got about, looks like 19 drivers here in this lead pack. I say the last of those is our pollster, that number 87, Raymond Rittenauer. So again, I think Raymond's just kind of biding his time, waiting till it's really time to kind of go after it full tilt. unfortunately, looks like Kevin Hash has lost the draft in that 0-3 car, so he's gonna be hoping for yellow to get himself back into the fight here. But right now, these drivers all everybody's starting to make their moves a little bit here. That were kind of hanging out to the back. You see the 89 of Matt Quick. He's starting to make his way forward as well. And I mean, it's like Raymond said in the pre-race there, what he needs to do to try to make it there here at the end. And he said survive. And so we saw he did have that damage early on with that last incident. So he went ahead and had to have a fast repair done to his car. So he's got that one of those used up here. Don't know if he has another one left or not. Should he need it? But it's going to be definitely sitting on some of these drivers' minds as well. I was about to say, you can see everybody kind of cruising here behind the 25 of Kevin Freeze, but as I say that, Dude Conrad gets a big push from Travis Turnmeyer, gets right to the door of the 25 car. And you can see here, the way they come out of the turns, the cars kind of just almost like bounce out of the turns, like I said, just kind of like a giant Dover. The way these things run and the way you kind of drop into the turns and bounce out of the turns, it's definitely a very different feeling than what I'm sure a lot of these drivers are used to, especially at these kinds of speeds here as well. There aren't really any tracks where you normally be going 240, 250 in the draft, so the drivers have had to adapt pretty quickly to this new track, but I think a lot of drivers definitely enjoy this one, as they just kind of adds a new element to the racing here. You see Dude Conrad has got to the lead, got to the bottom. So now Travis Turnmeyer, he's got help from Douglas Johnson on that top side. Also got Matt Quick, he's starting to join this party as well. I also see Paul Fletcher. Haven't talked about him too much in that number 82 car. So he's been kind of just cruising out there. And actually, I'm sorry, showing in the 4 machine on the paint scheme of that Busch Light car. So you haven't talked about him too much. I think he's the same thing, just been kind of biding his time, really trying to wait until it's been be the right time to make that move. But again, I definitely do think there's some drivers here that are just waiting and saving fuel until it's really time to go. So I think this might be a little bit of that calm before the storm, if you will, with where these drivers are running here at the moment. I say earlier we saw Alexander Vendeson kind of fall to the back on the top side. He's starting to make some moves up top now. Starting to push a little bit further forward. You see here he's bringing some help as well. I see the 99 of Matt Wagner. He's starting to join this mix as well. Also see, I believe that was the 22 of Christopher Kresge. He's starting to try to see if he can make that third lane happen as well. So right now I don't think they quite have enough cars to say. And I feel like from what I've seen before, you can make the second line work. I think the third line is going to be a little bit tough to make happen. But as I say that, though, I mean, you never know. As I said, I saw trouble in the back there. We're going to have another yellow here. Trying to catch where the car was. So unfortunately, it was that the number 4 machine. Paul Fletcher, that's who it was. So you can see he's back in the pits here. Let's go back and see. It looked like the same. I think it's kind of a similar issue as what happened earlier. The car's just trying to peek down a little bit and maybe just try to steal a little bit more space than it's actually there. So we'll take a look and see. Yeah, you can see it actually looks like. Take one more better look at it here. You see he's on the kind of the top line. Oh, you see Alexander Vendeson. He goes to the middle. And then I think the Paul Fletcher is trying to basically go where he was kind of trying to follow the groove there. And unfortunately, you see a few drivers getting caught up in this, not of their own doing. The 48, he gets caught up. You see the 93 is also involved. Oh, you see Van de Sant takes a big shot there as well. 29 is going to get involved here as well. Trying to catch, I say there's a few cars further up as well, so we'll let things cycle through a little bit to catch who they are. 79 Ted Decker Jr., he's also in this one. And the 87 Raymond Rittenauer as well. So we know he had to use one of those fast repairs already, so he's going to be in a little bit more trouble here. Again though, so this is where the fast repairs could come into play. Let's say pit stops or pit road is open. You see the drivers waiting for the pace car to go on by. They just did so now. So we'll see who's all in the pits here. So you see Matt Wagner is one of the first to hit the pits. You see 93 car, Kevin Brown, and say probably taking a faster pair. I would presume probably also 4 tires and fuel. Well, actually, I said probably not 4 tires and fuel. So he's already down and away. I saw the 87 of Raymond Rittenauer. He is in the pits as well. And actually, at this point, says I don't see a faster pair happening to that car. So it is possible he may be out of faster pairs on that machine. And I say he is down and away here. And say it looks like a few drivers may have got trapped. I'll say I see Charles Johnson. He just got his wave around. He's back on the lead lap. A couple drivers not sure what happened and why they're trapped laps down. So we mentioned Jim Brooks. He had the lucky dog last time around. He is unfortunately a lap down again. Same thing goes with the 26 of Christopher Lawrence, as well as the number 6 of Bud Steele. So those 3 drivers showing as 1 lap down. As things run, Gabe Butler in the 88 showing as 2 down. So say not what they're hoping for. Obviously they want to try to get back into contention here. And also Paul Fletcher still showing as 1 down at the moment. Just depends on where the pace car catches him. Might get trapped 2nd lap down or not. However, you see a few drivers looks like coming in now. See Andrew Pileshi is one of those that's going to hit the pits. Actually got a couple more, looks like also, yeah, Kevin's coming back in, Raymond's coming back in. Might be a little bit more damage repair for those guys. So what could happen here now, so again, we're going to be restarting here, it looks like with 10 to go on this restart. Again, some of these drivers are going to be taking the, topping off here on the 1 to go, or maybe getting more damage repaired more likely. So what's going to happen is we're going to have a few teammates here together, the 8, the 25, the 54, and I think I also saw the 89 of Matt Quick was right there as well. So I say that could be some strategy here where I say they're probably in the same Discord together. They could probably go ahead and maybe try to time this restart, go together, maybe try to build a little bit of a gap. I mean, again, the draft will bring everybody back, but if it gives them a little bit of some security for a few laps, I mean, that could definitely help them out. We mentioned Kevin Hash. He's now right back into the mix in that 03 car. We mentioned that he was probably going to be hoping for a yellow. He definitely got what he was looking for there. So he's going to be now in the top 8. And then all those drivers, oh, actually, you see the 29 machine. He is in a bad spot there, missing the whole front clip of his car, Randy Lanning. So say he's going to not be in a good spot. I see Ted Decker Jr. as well. He's missing his hood. So say cooling won't be an issue for those cars. Top end speed, however, not going to be their strong suit by any means. So what some of the drivers behind them, though, they're going to have to be careful is to try to not get trapped behind them here and lose the draft. So say we'll see, trying to see those that topped off on that 1 to go or got some damage repair on that 1 to go. Those are going to be the cars that we're going to have to keep an eye on for sure here. However, pace car is back off. Now it's up to Dude Conrad if he wants to go. It looks like he's going to go on the green flag. And again, you see a little bit of wobble there to get things going, but it looks like they get things pointed in the right direction. And right now, say a pretty good gap between that 8 and the 00. So we'll see what the outside line's able to do here as they come into turn number 1. See Logan Helton make a big move there from the top to bottom. He wants to try to use that momentum as quick as he can. And I mentioned some of those drivers. Yeah, you see they've all pretty much been able to clear. 43 might be in a tough spot here to see if he can catch back up to that group. He's been one of those ones that's been up front for a good portion of this race. So hopefully Garrett Wolfenbarger is able to grab back onto this one as well. We'll keep an eye on the intervals here. But right now up front, though, say we got the 3 teammates controlling things at the moment. You see Matt Wagner jumping into the pits. Got a couple drivers hitting the pits here. I think possibly some, yeah, looks like some pit penalties for some odd reason. So unfortunately, Matt Wagner, Andrew Pileshi, and Kevin Brown, they're all having to make pit stops here under green. I thought I saw him enter at the right time, so I'm not 100% sure what happened there. But that being said, though, I mean, it's definitely starting to thin this field out a little bit, which could definitely kind of help some of the drivers that may not have the help that they want here early on. But you see, though, Thomas Holder, he's going to jump to the top. Matt Wagner took advantage of that. He went straight to the bottom here. He's going to try to hook up with his teammates here. See Logan Helton, he's went back to the top, and I don't think that's worked out for him at this point in the race. Again, though, still going to have some time to go here. Coming across 8 to go here at the line. You can see drivers really starting to form up pretty closely here. I say again, these right now actually got teammates here on the inside. The first 4 cars on the inside line, all teammates. The 8 car of Dude Conrad, he is also one of their teammates as well. Right now on the outside, working with that 00. As you see, the 54, big push there on the entry. Again, that's the risk of entering shallow like you do. Is it's really easy to make mistakes there, and so luckily, really good reaction from that 00 of Thomas Holder to kind of give him a little bit of room to hang on to it. And you can see now Logan Helton, he's going to try to make the top side work. He's got some help from Charles Johnson here. So this is where things get a little bit dicey because, again, things get squished just a little bit more because everybody's going to start trying to pinch each other off just a little bit extra. And you can see right now everybody's really starting to squeeze each other here. So right now, I say what's going to happen here is that we're going to have a kind of a battle within a battle. Obviously, we have the battle for the lead for the win. But what's also happening here, though, is you've got the 93 of Kevin Brown. He had a good pit stop. He's able to get back out in front of the leaders here. So he's right at the tail end of the lead lap there. You saw in that 93 car for just a split second there. However, he's gonna need to try to stay in front of the 76 of Jim Brooks if he wants to be that first car lap down should a caution come out. Obviously, he doesn't want to be involved in the caution. That would basically prevent him from getting that position. So right now, as you see, the 93 on the top side. So the 76 is going to be the one he has to battle here. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. As we'll jump back up front, though, to our race leader here of Kevin Freeze. You see Kevin now right behind that 76 car. But here comes a big push from the 9 of Charles Johnson. He's going to push Travis Turnmeyer to the front. And I think you probably saw they probably wanted to go 3 wide. They just couldn't quite do it, unfortunately. So they're going to get back 2 by 2. But as I say that, though, Charles Johnson, he's going to drop to the inside. He's going to grab the lead with that help from the 63 of Logan Helton. But now Logan's going to take the momentum. He's going to jump back to the top here. Now he's got all the help he can get from the 54 and the 25. And so Charles had that lead coming out of turn number 2. And just like that, he's going to fall to about the 4th position here. Entering turn number 3. All right, next time, coming through the line here, we're going to be 4 laps remaining here. You see the 76 jumps to the top there from him. You see Matt Quick gets to the inside of Logan Helton in the 63 car. So right now, Travis Turnmeyer leading the way is 3 wide, entering behind him. Looks like they're able to hold on to it there. So right now, it's the 54, the 25, and the 9 for the top 3 spots. Behind them, side by side, you've got Matt Quick, you've got Logan Helton with 4 to go. So right now, you got kind of these guys just pretty much running a train right now, just trying to stay locked onto each other's bumpers and make as much time as possible. But again, I think aggression is going to start picking up a little bit. You see Charles, he gets a little bit of that push off of turn 2. Oh, almost 4 wide there off of turn number 4. So now Matt Quick is moving up into that 3rd position in that number 89 car. As again, the 54-25 stays side by side. Kevin Hash, he's going to jump to the top here, it looks like. Although, as I said, Kevin's going to go to the top. Charles is going to go higher. And right now, though, solid smoke from everybody. Not sure what happened there, but everybody's still good. So right now, though, still top 3. Holding's firm here. Travis Turnmeyer, Kevin Freeze, Matt Quick. You've got Kevin Hash now. He's leading the top side with help from Logan Helton. You got Dude Conrad in the 4th car on the inside line. Those, again, right now, those top 4 on the inside. Oh, teammates, contact between the 22 and the 8 through the turn, able to hang on to it. But here comes the 03 getting a big push. He's going to get the momentum. He's going to get this lead off of turn number 4. So credit that lap to Kevin Hash here as we get 2 laps to go. He's going to drop to the inside. That's going to give Logan Helton some momentum now with Charles Johnson as they enter turn number 1 here. All right, got about a lap and a half again. Say if a caution comes out, we still have 3 attempts of a green-white checker. However, if they get to the white flag, they will race to the finish. So we'll see what's going to happen here. Travis Turnmeyer pushing that 0-3 of Kevin Hash for all he is worth. Logan Helton trying to get help from Charles Johnson as well right now. So they're come out of turn number 4 for potentially the second to last time here. We'll see if they can keep it clean to the start-finish line. And then from here, all bets will be off. And we get the white flag. Right now, Kevin Hash leading the way over Travis Turnmeyer. Logan Helton trying to make something happen on that top side. He's got Kevin Freeze as well behind him on the inside line. You see the 54 washes up just a little bit there. And so you see the 54, he's going to jump to the top, wants to take control of this outside line now. As we'll see who's going to get the push right now. It looks like the 54, Travis Turnmeyer, is getting a big push from the 63, Logan Helton here down the backstretch. Now the question is, what does Logan do and where does he make his move? He's going to duck inside. Let's see if Travis is going to try to block. He does try to block. He washes up, though, so Logan Helton is going to get underneath him off of 3 and 4. Now it's going to be a drag race through the line. You see, oh, Kevin Hash tries to get to the inside. Oh, hits the pit barrels. Logan Helton is going to try to hold on to it. Looks like Logan Helton going to get the win over the 25 of Kevin Freeze and the 54 of Travis Turnmeyer. You saw, I hate it for Kevin Hash. He put a really good move there. So he just decided to try to, I think he basically tried to react to not wreck the 63 of Logan Helton there at the end. And unfortunately, they paid a big price there. Luckily, this is all virtual, because otherwise that would be a tremendous hit there. We'll follow our race winner here, that number 63 of Logan Helton, get in tonight's win. And so we'll definitely pull up our top 3. So while we watch the 63 here celebrate, we'll start pulling up some of our top 3 finishers. We're going to start with Travis Turnmeyer and Kevin Freeze. However, Logan Helton is going to celebrate here, burn it down. He's definitely going to be enjoying a little bit of a little late but nice Christmas present of some cash for that number 63 car. And while we do that, let's jump back laps. Let's take a look at that last move there at the end. We'll watch this final lap here. You see Logan Helton, he gets to the back of the 54 Travis Turnmeyer. Travis jumps to the top there to try to see what he can do. But we'll go through here and we'll go through slow things down as we get a little closer. You see Logan drops to the bottom. Travis tries to shut the door, and when he does so, he just washes up a little bit. Not sure if there's any contact between the two of them, but you can see the Ted Decker Jr. Definitely caught some of those drivers probably by surprise. But then unfortunately the 0-3 of Kevin Hash, you see he gets the run. He's going to duck to the inside here, try to jump underneath. But you see Logan's going to put the block on there, and you can see Kevin decides to react to not wreck the 63 car, but unfortunately just straight into the tire barrels there. Luckily it's just a virtual race here tonight. Then at the line, you see Logan Helton's able to hold on to it. Kevin Freeze just gets the nose ahead of that 54 of Travis Turnmeyer, and that's how they finish things off here. So, all right, let's go ahead and pull in our 3rd place finisher. And that will be Travis Turnmeyer. Gotta get better. There we go. Alright, so we're going to pull in the 54 of Travis Turnmeyer, brings it home in 3rd. So you made a really good move there, jumping up a top out of 4, got the push there to get into the lead, entering turn number 3. But I don't know if it was maybe you got a little bit of a nudge in the turn, because it seemed like the car just washed up on you. Like I said, it was hard to tell from my point of view. I'm sure you probably were able to feel it on your side. I mean, take us through that final lap and that move to try to get that win there.
I probably waited a little too long. I should have went ahead and went down, gave that opening to Logan. Then when I seen him go down, I just tried to cut down with him. It was just a little too close. But as some lap cars got in the way there and caused a little havoc. It is what it is. We still come out with a P3. So.
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously not quite the result you'd want by any means, but again, still overall for being a race with a lot of unfamiliar faces, and of course when races like that, when there's some money on the line, things get probably a little bit more hectic at the end as well. But as a whole, I mean, you guys did a really good job. Only the 4 cautions for the 75 laps here. And saying, I'm sure you've probably raced the track before, but I mean, just how does this compare to the typical super speedway that you guys are used to running with Daytona Talladega compared to this thing?
This thing ain't no comparison. Daytona and Talladega, it's like running Dover on track. It's pretty wicked. You jump off into the corners and you jump out of them in 250-mile-an-hour straightaways. It's a quick turn down in, and it's easy to miss it. If you catch the apron just a little bit, you're going around.
Yeah, and that's pretty much exactly what I was kind of describing as well. Kind of Dover on steroids. Let's say it's definitely, like you said, very similar where you kind of drop down into the turns and bounce on out of it. But again, it's like versus the 250 miles an hour part, that's a little bit of the different side of things. But again, just really good run though for you. Say grabbing that 3rd place run. The other thing I have to mention is obviously you guys had the plan initially to kind of cruise in the back and kind of let the chaos happen and move forward once it was time to really go. But we actually wound up getting some green flag pit stops. I mean, how that transition between the track and the apron, I mean, how difficult was that for you guys to hit those pits?
Oh, it's a violent transition. You come down off that banking, then the car jumps and bounces, and you're at that high speed. You're not running 250, but you're 230 something, and coming from 230 to 65 there is a pretty quick woe down. You're standing on them with everything they got and pushing them right to the point of not sliding them. It's everything you can do to get it stopped. It's a wicked ride coming off of that banking down to that flat, getting it slowed down.
Yeah, I definitely saw it. Caught a few people out. Looks like, I'd say as a whole, looks like it definitely worked out pretty well for you guys and your team. Able to have a good chunk of you guys up in that top 10 at the end of the race tonight. But so definitely want to give you opportunity though. Any thanks shots you'd like to give for the 3rd place finish, and of course for the make yourself a little bit $25 richer tonight.
Oh yeah, we can always use a little bit of money. I'll put it on some iRacing credits, buy a track or host some races or do something with it. I want to thank these boys over at Boot Knocker. We all run pretty good together. We do pretty good in these races. They all know who they are, and their thanks is very much appreciated.
Yeah, you guys did an awesome job tonight. So again, great run for you tonight. Travis is able to get a good 3rd place run tonight. So kind of keep yourself get the practice in before obviously we start things back up for season 6 in January. But yeah, great run. Look forward to having future chats with you, man.
Yeah, sure thing. Thank you, Gil.
All right, we're going to switch things over to his teammate, the number 25 of Kevin Fries, also known as Better Kevin. So he brings it home in the 2nd position. So you kind of, we're talking about Travis, kind of a tale of 2 races where you guys kind of cruising in the back, and then pretty much time to actually show what you had there at the end. And so you got pretty wild there at the end. So you got a good run there to be able to kind of still hold on to the 2nd position. But anything different you would have done if you had the opportunity?
Dodged a couple cars better, but other than that, it was a good race. This track is so much fun.
Yeah, it's definitely a wild one. It's very, very different. I mean, obviously, it's the super speedway part still kicks on where you're foot to the floor, you're going for everything, but you're not going 205 or so. You're going 250 or so. And yeah, I mentioned also to mentioned with Travis the pit entrance, the transition. I'm sure that was obviously a big thing you guys had to kind of be aware of. I say didn't have a lot of green flag stops, but enough to. I say that the one I think that we did have really separated the field there. Did you guys spend a lot of time practicing that as a team, or were you not really thinking that that'd be something we would see tonight?
We weren't really expecting it, but I've done a few green flag stops here just to try it out, and that transition is just brutal. I don't know how it could be any different, but it is a rough one. If you don't hit it right, you're going to end up in those barriers.
Yeah, you definitely bounce a good bit when you switch from that top to the bottom. But yeah, I mean, so obviously it's kind of tailored two races. Say we saw you were one of the few that kind of moved your way up to the front, kind of maybe not midway through the race, but maybe like about 2/3 point of the race. Decided it's like, all right, I don't know if you're maybe just trying to see what you needed to do to make your way forward, because it seemed like when it was time to go, you could really make a lot of momentum if you kind of seemed like if you got the car in the right place at the right time. I mean, because at one point I think you were in the 20s and you were in the top 10 within like 2 laps. So I mean, was that just you trying to get to the front, or was that just trying to see what it was going to take to get up there?
Yeah, I made it to lap 39 and I still had the 2 faster pairs left, so I was like, let's go have some fun. And after the one restart, I went from 9th to 1st in 1 lap.
Yeah, and yeah, that's exactly. It's just how quick. I mean, the momentum you can get with these things. It's pretty wild. So, again, I mean, great result for you tonight. I'd say your team as a whole did well tonight. As also with Raymond getting the pole, and then Travis getting third, you got second. So say it'd be $45 going your way. I'm sure admins will be hitting you up for that one. But again, just a great run. But obviously, of course, want to give you time here for anything shouts you'd like to give for that result.
Yeah, shout out to the team. I wish some of us had a better finish, like Mr. Hash, who found the tire barrier and the barrels at the end of the race. Not really the way he wanted to end, but it was a fun race.
Yeah, that was a brutal one, unfortunately. But so that's where we're thankful this is all virtual stuff. So hopefully he's not running a motion rig. Otherwise, that might not feel very good either, though.
Yeah, that'd be a heck of a launch from 250 to 0.
Yeah, that you are correct on. But yeah, again, great run, Kevin. Definitely hope you're enjoying your holiday break and look forward to catching again here not too long for continue season 6 with that Superspeedway Cup Series.
Yep. Thank you for broadcasting, and we'll see you soon. Have a happy New Year.
Thanks, sir. You as well. All right, now we got to jump over to our race winners. I know he's got some viewers in here as well. So we're going to pull in that number 63 of Logan Helton. And say you were, I was noticing during the race, you were one of the few it seemed like that you could really kind of hit the mark entering the turns the way you wanted to, where you kind of, like you see a lot of drivers, they would get it down in the turns, but it would kind of wash up. It seemed like you had the timing where you could cut it down and it would just stay on the bottom. And then you were really strong pushing as well. I mean, and that's what you had to do tonight. You kind of pushed those guys to the front. And then make the move to get to the front yourself there at the end. I mean, take us through. I mean, what you had to do to get to the front, and then just take us through the final lap or so. Where obviously a lot of movement to try to hold on to that win tonight.
Yeah, I've been running this track a pretty good amount, and I've just found my favorite way to enter the corner, and it keeps me on the bottom. I might burn the right front off a little bit more than I want to, but but holding the bottom is more beneficial than to save tires, really. And on the last few laps, I knew I wouldn't be able to get clear if I was being pushed, but I knew that if I could get someone in front of me and have the guy leading the bottom not have much help, I could maybe have a chance to get both of us clear. And I was waiting for me to get clear so I can cut underneath the guy that I was pushing. And it kind of worked, but then he made himself clear. But in trying to get in front of me, it washed him up the track. And then Ted was on the bottom of the track, which caused a bit of chaos. But yeah, coming to the line, I tried to put the block on Kevin, and I talked to him after the race, and I felt bad because he got in the barrels, but he was fine with it. So, but yeah, it was just a really fun race.
Yeah, it was a really exciting one. I say it's obviously the first one that that I've been able to broadcast with Area 51. So you guys put on a really good show, and especially just for, again, a lot of new names, new faces that maybe haven't run with each other too often. To be able to do 75 laps with only the 4 yellows, I mean that's a really good job by them as well. But yeah, I mean, it was like you said. I mean, you guys are able to do a really good job of everything. And the pit stops was the thing I noticed the most, was that we had the one green flag stop, and I don't know what it was, but I mean, you came out there and you had a pretty big gap over the next car, so you were able to tag on. I believe it was with the 83 car. But from there, I mean, without that caution, I mean, you were setting sail there after that pit stop.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have been able to do it if I didn't have the 83 and the 93 to lock on with. But the main thing that just helped me was that I like to hit the brakes late going into the pit stop, and then I found I found another good line on the pit exit that helps me keep it going quick and not get loose or tight.
No, so it sounds like the time you've been spending practicing racing, just kind of having fun here, is definitely paid off for you tonight. So I know you had a couple people watching you tonight, so they'll be able to celebrate with you afterwards tonight. I say, and also of course a nice little extra Christmas bonus with the $90 for getting the win here as well tonight, which is an awesome little perk as well for that one. So definitely want to give you the floor here. Any thanks, shouts you'd like to give for pulling off the win this evening?
I like to thank all my friends and family that watched the race, you guys that put on the broadcast, and Area 51, and all the sponsors that put money together for this. It was a lot of fun, and thanks to my YouTube or whatever, the LKH Racing, RGC Media, Checkers and Wreckers podcast for coming on board, Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, and I think that is it.
All right, well, definitely enjoy it, Logan. I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure the admins will be hitting you up here to try to get you some money to go your way, and say definitely enjoy it. And yeah, hope you enjoy the rest of your holidays and have a happy New Year, sir.
Thank you. You too.
All right, that is our race winner, the number 63 of Logan Helton, getting the win this evening. Had to fight off a couple of hard charges at the end. So unfortunately, didn't go as well as was hoping for at least one of them, as we saw, but at least they're able to kind of hash things out. No pun intended. I'm sorry, Kevin. Get things squared away between the two of them there after the race. So yeah, so with that, though, we got to pull up our final results. Getting the win here tonight, Logan Helton over Kevin Fries and Travis Turdmeyer. Bringing it home in fourth was Douglas Johnson over Charles Johnson in fifth. Matt Quigg brings it home in sixth position over Jude Conrad. Christopher Kresge, Thomas Holder, and Raymond Rittenauer, starting from the pole, finishes in the top 10. 11th through 20th. Kevin Hash still winds up in the 11th position after the unfortunate ending to his race. Kevin Brown in 12th, but Steele 13th. Jim Brooks 14th. And 15th through 20th, you have Christopher Lawrence. Garrett Wolfenbarger had a really good run, just didn't have what he needed at the end, unfortunately, just bad luck for him. Andrew Pleshy, Matt Wagner, Gabe Butler, and Ted Decker Jr. And 21st through 30th, drivers that unfortunately had to retire earlier in the race: Randy Lanning, Jack Walls, Michael Provolt, Alexander Venessant, Paul Fletcher, Gary Corley, Benjamin Combs, Steve Richard, Charles Teed, and Dustin Ollis. And the remainder of those that were part of this event: Nicholas Winook, Billy Sigmund, Mark Carpenter, Andre Heidstra, Thomas Fisher, and then Rick Cadot. And then a few of these drivers did not actually take the grid, unfortunately, it looks like James Ledford, Bobby Everhart, Michael Givorns, and Paul Sheldon. However, with that said, so that was our Area 51 Fun Money Race tonight here at iRacing Superspeedway. Logan Helton getting the win over Kevin Fries and Travis Turnmeyer. Again, want to thank everybody with Area 51 for letting me put this on for them. And again, want to thank all the drivers for an awesome race that they had this evening. It was a lot of fun to be a part of. And I say it's definitely going to be fun to see this as part of the Super Speedway cycle for the Sunday series. So again, if you're interested in doing some racing with this league, you can find them at area51iracing.com. Broadcast nights are Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. Tuesday, the Indy Cars. Thursday, Cup Cars. Sunday, Superspeedway Cup Series. And they do have some series to kind of get your feet wet and get familiar with the drivers and cars and everything like that as well. So check out their website. You'll find a lot of info there. And so I hope everybody enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun to be a part of. And again, congrats to our top 3. And for that, I'll say I believe we'll see if there's any extra races before the regular season begins again. I'll definitely keep an eye out for the Area 51 Facebook page as well for some details. So for myself, though, with Green White Checkered TV, I want to thank everybody for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and look forward to catching you all again soon. And as always, hope everybody had a very Merry Christmas, and I hope you all have a Happy New Year here shortly. And until next time, if you can, of course, please try to stay home, stay safe, wash your hands, and have a good night.